Hello everyone and welcome to Picture Perfect Presents. Today we're going to be making a family recipe book, which is going to be a ton of fun. I'm very much looking forward to this. And in case you're wondering what this little ball of fluff here is on my lap, we have a special guest today. This is McAllen, and he just needed some attention, and he's usually sleeping this time of day. So usually I'm able to do my presentations without interruption, but he wants to be in the middle of everything today. So if you see a little bit of fur on top of my lap, that is what's happening there. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into some of our upcoming events. I just want to make sure you guys know we have a ton of really cool stuff for you this week, next week, and into the future as well. We have these picture perfect presents sessions that are every single day, Monday through Friday, this week and next. And we're teaching you how to make really cool holiday gifts with your photos. So anything that you can do with your photos, we're going to talk about different ways that you can use them. Lots of fun. We also have our live Q&As on Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. We have coffee breaks on Friday, which are short tutorials followed by more open Q&A. We're going to be talking about using the Printique integration in Mylio Photos, which is a lot of what we're covering in these Picture Perfect Presents sessions as well. We also have joining us in the chat Lori Rubin. She is hosting the live sessions you see there at the top of the screen, importing and organizing, setting up new devices, sharing, and search, find, and filter. Those run every day as well. Those are at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. You're welcome to jump into those anytime if you have questions on those specific topics. She also hosts Ready, Set, Go, which is a program we have designed especially for new users or people who maybe took a break from Mylio and need to get reacquainted. Go ahead and drop into those. You can find all of those listed at mylio.com/ready, set, go. So I also want to remind you, if you're loving Mylio Photos, consider giving Mylio as a gift to your friends and family. If you purchase a gift card, you'll also get a couple of months added to your own subscription, so it's a win-win for everybody. Hope you guys can check that out at mylio.com/holiday gifts. All right, with that, let's go ahead and jump into today's presentation. And we are going to talk about creating a family recipe book. So of all of these different projects that we're doing in this couple of week period, this is probably the one I've spent the most time on because it takes a little bit of effort to bring together all of the resources you need to make something like an heirloom family recipe book. And I'm going to walk you through the entire process. So what we're going to do today is I'll talk a bit about how we gathered the recipes, selecting the photos, anything we need to do to prep these things for printing. Then we'll upload all of our resources to Printique and create our recipe book. And we'll do all of this together. Today's session will probably be a little longer than Mondays and Tuesdays where we created a holiday card. And yesterday we created wall art. This one's going to take a bit more effort because creating a photo book is a bit more involved of a process. But it's a ton of fun. And I think the payoff for something like this is going to be huge. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first step is to gather the recipes that you want to use in this project. My family has a lot of recipes that are unique to us that I've not come across in other families. Other families might have variations on them, but the way that my family does a lot of things, as I'm sure your families as well, is unique. So what I've done is I gathered up a bunch of these recipes that are a lot of my favorites, and I was hoping to find handwritten versions of these that you could scan. So if you have like handwritten notes from your mom or your grandma or your auntie or anybody in your family, those are really great to put into this. If you don't have them scanned and handwritten, what I did was I actually used a word processor and typed up all of my recipes and made them look like they're handwritten. So let me show you what that looks like here really quick. I've got my Apple Pages, which is the word processor I typically use. You can use Microsoft Word, you can use any word processor that you're comfortable with. And I just made every page here formatted to where I could have a nice blurb here and put one recipe per page. I also chose a really nice handwritten kind of font. You can choose whatever works best for you. The key here is you want to make sure it's legible. So you have to kind of find a balance between something that's very scripty and something that can actually be read because you want people to be able to actually use these recipes. And for this, I'm using the Adobe handwriting font. You can go ahead and look up online. Google Fonts has a ton of really cool ones. Those are typically free to download to your system if you're not seeing something already installed that you like. And this one is one that I found that I thought looked really, really nice. So what I did here was I gathered up all of my recipes and I put one on each page. And then what you can do with, I think, most of the word processors out there is you can actually export these to images. So in Pages, that was pretty simple. I went up here to File, Export to Images, and each page gets made into its own image file. So what I did was choose Save, and I put those right into my Mylio inbox. So that puts those pictures as images and recipes as images rather into my Mylio Photos library, so I can then easily upload them to Printique and make this book. So here's what that looked like. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Mylio, and you'll see here's my images. But if I go into my folders and into my Mylio inbox, here is that exported file with all of my recipes. Now, what I did with these here, so they were all in the 8.5 by 11 format, I went ahead and cropped them. So you can go in here and use your crop tool, and you can see this is a full page. I just cropped it in to that particular recipe size, so it's going to be easy to place once I make my photo book. I'm going to go ahead and click Done, and you can see that I've done this with all of my recipes. So this worked really, really well, and I'm really happy with the results so far. So this is how I went ahead and gathered my recipes. I do want to encourage you to talk to family members if you're working on this project, maybe with your mom or your grandma, or reach out to cousins, people who have these recipes. See who has that handwritten version. If there's a recipe that you know that your family makes, but maybe you don't have it, reach out and see if you can get it. And then also do the same thing with the photos. Ask family members of photos, because the photos that I'm going to use for this book are ones that we've captured at holidays, of the food, of people prepping food, things like that. And you may or may not have a lot of those kinds of photos, but your family might. So I reached out to my mom. She sent me a few pictures, and some of them are great. And they really fit well for this particular book. So you can also go through Mylio and find the right pictures. Quick filters are super, super helpful because you can find pictures from specific holidays. So let's go ahead and jump over to Mylio and find all of my Christmas pictures. I'm going to go ahead and go to All Photos, and I'm going to open up the left sidebar here, and we're going to go down by date, and let's see here, we want to go by month. And a lot of times holiday celebrations, whether Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever holidays your family likes to gather for, might take place on a different day than the actual holiday. So you can certainly go in and find all of the December 25th. And that's one way to do Christmas. That's an easy thing right there. I can go ahead and do that and find all of the ones just of Christmas. Or if your family has different traditions, like maybe you do some big gatherings on Christmas Eve, you do them maybe the weekend before or after, depending on people's work schedules and when they're able to gather, you might actually have things going on throughout the entire month. So what I did was I actually just selected December, not December 25th, and found all of my pictures that were holiday related from all Decembers. And by selecting just the month, I'm selecting Decembers from my entire library, not just a specific year. You can certainly limit it to a specific year or year range if you'd like, but I wanted to quickly be able to go through everything that was all of the Decembers in my library. Because my family also celebrates Thanksgiving, I did the same thing with November and looked for things that were Thanksgiving and family related. Easter's another big one in my family, and I can go into, like, say, April and find everything from Easter. So whenever your family tends to gather, birthdays are another good one to look for. These are just different ways that you can filter through your library to find those really important images. So as I went through my library, this is what I gathered. And some of these are mine, some of these are my mom's. And I found a handful of images that were in a kitchen, people wearing aprons, family gathering related, and food related. And then, of course, I brought into my album all of those recipes. So everything here is ready to go. I've gathered my recipes, I've selected my photos, and now we're gonna go ahead and prep them for printing. I mentioned earlier you wanna crop those image recipes. You wanna make them so they're nice. You wanna get rid of all that extra white space because you don't wanna have to worry about that once you upload them. As far as your photos go, you can do some editing in Mylio. For example, I did a little crop on this picture of me and my cousin. That's us when we were quite young. The picture, was sent to me, and you can see it was actually something she was holding up and took a picture of. So I cropped off the edges and focused in on just the important part here. You can also do things like open up the edit tools and do an auto color, an auto tone. Let's go ahead and do that. That brightens it up a little bit. Just make the pictures look their best. You also have the option, if you'd like, to go into third-party editors. I really like Luminar Neo for third-party creative editing. If you have things that need fixes like sharpening, noise, upscaling, let's say somebody shared with you a really small photo, Topaz Photo AI is awesome for those kinds of things. I also use Adobe extensively. There's lots of great applications out there, but a lot of what you might want to do, you can do right in Mylio Photos. No need to go out and purchase third-party stuff unless you just really want to get very creative. All right, so once everything is ready to print, then we're going to upload all of this to Printique. Sorry, I've got cat hair on my face, so that's why I keep touching my face. All right, let's go ahead and upload to Printique. And I'm going to jump back over here to Mylio. I'm going to go ahead and hit the G key on my keyboard to go back to my grid. And all of these images, I want to go ahead and put up on Printique so I can use them to make my photo book. I'm going to do Command or Control A on my keyboard. That's going to select all of the images that are in this particular album. And then I'm going to go over here to the right, click the Share menu, choose Post, Printique, and you can see it's got 29 images here. I can rename them if I like, and I can also choose a gallery. If you don't choose a gallery, it's just going to go into the Mylio Photos generic bucket that is automatically created for you. For this particular project, because there's a lot of images involved, I'm actually going to create a new gallery and call this Family Recipe Book. Oops, if I can spell here. There we go. And save. And I've chosen Family Recipe Book. You'll also want to check that you have the right to publish this content and understand that anything from Printique can only be shipped to the USA and Canada. So that little caveat there is important if you're going to use the Printique integration. One more thing I forgot to mention, if you're getting different windows popping up than this, it's probably because you haven't used Printique before. You're going to get a pop-up that asks you to log in or create an account. If you've never used Printique before, go ahead and create an account and log in, and then you're going to get to this screen and be able to finish the upload. So once all of that's set, go ahead and click Post, and Mylio is going to work on sending all of those images as full-size JPEGs to Printique. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Printique website. You're going to start at Printique, and we're going to look at the lay flat photo books. They have a lot of different options for books, and I'm going to jump over to my browser, and this is the Printique website here, and here are our photo books. So you have your lay flat albums, you have your lay flat photo books, you have hardcover books, which are very nice, high quality, beautiful. These are great for heirlooms, but they are pricey. You have also soft cover books. This is a more budget friendly, especially if you're wanting to order several of them for several people in your family. I would avoid for a recipe book doing the mini books, just to show you what that looks like here. Let me switch to this view. This is a mini book. It's very, very mini. It is super cool, super cute, and we're going to talk about making these in a later session. But just to give you an idea of what a mini book looks like, for a recipe book, that's probably not what you want to choose. I'm going to go ahead and work with a soft cover book because I want to send these to several people in my family. You then have the option to take a look at, do you want a square? Do you want a horizontal or vertical orientation here? And your size. I'm going to go ahead and go with square. I think that looks really nice. And I think the 8x8 is going to be a really good size to be able to still see the recipes, have them all be legible, nothing too small, but also try to manage the price. When we take a look at this, if we do 20 pages, which is 10 spreads, that's going to be $30 a book. That's a really great price, actually, if you think about an heirloom gift that you're going to be giving to family members. And you can also, for additional price, you can add additional pages if you want to. So let's go ahead and say create now. And that's going to go ahead and take us to the page where we can look at our pictures and start creating this. And this is where we get to have some fun. It's going to take us a little while to put this together, but it's really a great process. And I think the making of this and giving this is going to be a very valuable experience. I know it was a lot of fun for me just to even discover some of those recipes that I hadn't looked at for a while. So I'm going to go here, choose Printique Galleries, and here is that family recipe book gallery that I created. All of my pictures are there. I'm just going to go ahead and say import all, and proceed to edit. And now what we're looking at is, let me go ahead and move something around here on the screen. There we go. All of our pictures have been added here so we can start making our book. And you can go ahead and have it autofill this for you. Now, I don't really want to autofill. I want to choose where things are placed. I do want to do probably one photo per page. And I am not going to autofill this. So let's see here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just click cancel on that. And I'm going to manually make this book. So let me go ahead and move my chat off the window there. Right now, what I'm looking at is the back cover and the front cover. I'm going to come back to that in a little while, and we're going to start with pages 1 and 2. So let's go ahead, and I think the first recipe that I want to work with here, and these are a little hard to read because they're so tiny, is going to be Grandma's salsa. So let's start with, right here, there it is. Grandma's salsa. So you can choose right or left. Go ahead and choose which page you want to put it on. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the left. And you can see it just drops it there on the page. You can then choose to fit or fill. So I'm going to say fit to the page. That spreads that out nicely. And then I can choose a picture or group of pictures to put on this side here. And I have some really awesome ones from the salsa making. This one here of my dad, I think is just so much fun. So I wasn't there for this particular event, but before my grandmother passed away, she made the most amazing salsa. And she actually took the time to teach my dad how to make it. Now, I don't know if he's actually made it since because it's quite a process. You go through the whole canning and sealing the jars. But this is him with his finished product. So I think that's a really cute picture to use. So we definitely want to use that one in the book. We also have the tomatoes here that were used, so we can kind of go ahead and put these here. We can just position them, make a little collage if we like. And then I think this one here is really cool. So this is my dad's and my grandma's hands scooping out those peppers. So we can go ahead and make a little collage like that. And there's some pictures here for making grandma's salsa, which I think is really special. So from there, we've got our first page layout. We can go ahead and go on to the next one. And I want to do, let's see, what do we want to make next? Let's do, it's going to be easier here if I look over in Mylio and see which recipes I had. I can see them a little bit bigger and remember the order that I want to go in. Let's go ahead and just start going down the list. I think that's going to be the easiest. We've got Mima's corned beef casserole. And honestly, I don't know that have had this since Mima was alive, and that was many years ago. But as a kid, I remember loving this recipe, and my mom found it in her notes. So I'm going to go ahead, actually not fill the spread. We want to fit to page. There we go. And that's going to go ahead and fit that image right there to the page. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, fit to page was what I wanted. That looks good. And then we can go ahead and choose another image to go along with that. So I don't have any pictures of that particular casserole, but I'm going to go ahead and grab this one of my cousin and I when we're little and drag that onto this page. And you can just go ahead and make this however you want, just size that around. And it does a really nice job of locking it into different positions and making it so you can position things exactly how you want. Let's go ahead and go to the next page. And let's go to the next recipe. And we've got our Thanksgiving stuff. So with my family, we make a cornbread stuffing, dressing, whatever you want to call it. And we do our cornbread from scratch. So we've got our cornbread recipe here. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck that up here in the upper part of the page. And then I'm going to grab the next one here, which I believe, oh no, here it is. The dressing recipe, which is everything else that goes into this. So we're going to go ahead and make that a bit bigger. There we go. And I think that will work just fine. We could even make this centered here and make this one a little bigger if we want. However you want to format that is great. Now, the picture I'm going to use from this is actually my cousin and I, that same one that I used on that page before. This is us a few years ago making this stuffing. And we were just having a great time figuring this out on our own. And it turned out awesome. So you can go ahead and plug in these family pictures and make something that's really special and very much just for your family. Now, as I was planning this out, I stuck to one side of my family because both sides of my family have really unique ways of cooking. So this side of my family, we're going to stick to my Evans side family, the recipes, and maybe later on I'll do one with the Campbell side. So you can see how much fun it is to go through and make this kind of photo book. I don't want to take up a ton of your time walking you through the layouts of every single page. We totally could do that. And if you guys are enjoying this and you guys want to see all those recipes, we can do a few more. But once you've gone through and added your different images, you can go ahead and click up here to get a print preview. And that's going to go ahead and show you your cover. Let's see here. It'll show you your different pages. There we go. There's my layouts. And you can get an idea of what this is going to look like. And once you're ready, you can go ahead and say add to cart. Now for now, I'm going to go ahead and say go back to edit, and we can make a few more here. Let's see, go ahead, take a look and see if we have any questions. All right, let's go ahead and do one more layout because I don't want to keep you guys too long as I'm sitting here making my own family heirloom. I want to go ahead and do the Evans Secret Chocolate Cake next. So we're going to go ahead and pop that one on the page, fit that to the page. And this is an amazing cake that I grew up with. Most of us will request this for our birthdays and for other special occasions. Here's one my mom made. I think this was probably a Valentine's Day cake for my dad. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this nice and big. There we go, and center that. And there's that lovely Evans Secret Chocolate Cake. It is a wonderfully rich cake. We call it a secret recipe, but we do share it. So it's not like I'm divulging anything big here. I can also make this a multi-image layout if I like. So let's go ahead and put that one there. Got another one here. There we go. And we've got some of the actual prep going on here. Go ahead and make that a little smaller maybe. And let's see here, we got one more. Make that a bit smaller. So you can have a lot of fun with this and really customize your book to anything you want it to be. And I think this is just such a cool heirloom. If somebody gave this type of gift to me, I would treasure it forever because not only does it have pictures that are meaningful to my family, it's also those recipes. And if your family is anything like mine, food is one of those core things. Like we joke in my family that food is our love language. And if we cook you good food, that's us showing you our love. So this is probably one of the most special things that many of us in my family could give or receive. So with that, I want to go ahead and jump back over here to the presentation and open up the floor for any questions. And let's take a look here. It looks like we've got a couple that have popped up. Wonderful. Donna says, can you add links or QR codes for further family history, i.e. a pedigree chart or a link to a family chart? So you certainly could add a QR code. So a lot of places will allow you to create a custom link QR code. Bitly is one of them, bit.ly. You can go in there, add a link, and have it make a QR code for you. Download that image, and you can pop it into your photo book, and that can take people to additional stories. That's a great idea. I love that. You could also type in a link. In that design, you can also add text. You can add other captions. So let's say I wanted to add some captions to these pictures. I could go ahead and click in text and add in some different words about what these pictures are or what event this was at. So there's a lot of different customization you can certainly do. Lisa's asking, do you need to allow for bleed? The recipe text is kind of close to the page edge. Does the site take that into consideration? Lisa, that is an excellent point. With this particular image here, I think I probably would move that up. You can see if as I move and try to scale this, it does have what it's pointing out is a safe area. So that's a great catch. I would probably pull that in and make that a little bit smaller. So keep in mind, if it goes all the way to that edge, it might get cut off a little bit. You can print edge to edge, but just know that those details on the edges might be a little bit obscured. That's also a little bit why I kept a bit of a border around the text. So in case it did get too close to the edge, it would hopefully be okay, but that is definitely something you want to watch for. All right, Terry asks, does Printique allow you to create picture frames and then drop the pictures into the frames? I'd like to get some consistency with picture sizes. Could I create a picture frame and then save it so I could have it on multiple, could I create a picture frame and then save it so I could have the same size picture on multiple pages? I believe you can do different layouts. And I think you can do shapes. So yeah, there are shapes you can do, and then you can pop pictures into these various shapes. So you can go ahead and absolutely do that. I was doing it a little bit quick and not going through all of the options, but there are certainly more formatting options you can choose from. All right. Donna says, can you add a TOC index or sources as to who donated the recipes. Absolutely. You might want to put that when you're using, if you're using something like, Microsoft Word or Apple Pages, put that into your notes in the actual recipe as you're writing them up, or you can add that as additional text here on the page. Absolutely. So on a lot of these recipes, I'm going to jump back here to Mylio real quick so you can see, like I did put that these were grandma's apricot cookies, and right here, my dad makes really killer oatmeal chocolate cookies. So these are my dad's cookies. And so I did put those in there. You can certainly do that. I called up Mima's corned beef hash or corned beef casserole rather, because she's the one that made that. Same with her potato salad, which we still make to this day. So you can definitely put that in any way that you want, either adding the text in Printique or attaching that in your recipe and formatting it there. All right. Any other questions today? These are awesome questions. Okie dokie. Well, I think that brings us to our giveaway. So every day for these sessions, we are giving away a Printique photo book. So it's actually a great way great thing to put to use making your family recipe book. Lori, did we have a chance to get that set up, and do I have a link for that yet? Excellent. Let me go ahead and open that up. All right, well, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and click spin, and we'll see what we get. And it looks like the winner is Dana. So Dana, congratulations. I hope you have fun creating your photo book, whether you choose to do recipes, you choose to do other family designs, or save it for another family event. Whatever you do, I hope you have a lot of fun with it. You're going to love how this book turns out. Printique makes beautiful, beautiful stuff. What we are asking of you is if you could send us your email address, and we'll get that promotion code out to you. You can either send it as a direct message to me or to Lori, either one. And we'll wait until we get that from you before we close up this session. So congratulations. And I hope you really enjoy that. And it's a lot of fun to give these away. You guys are going to love it. So hopefully we get that soon from Dana. All right. And I think that's it. Are there any other questions before we wrap up today? While we're waiting for that email address, let me go ahead and just remind you that we have a ton of great events for you. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I believe we're talking about puzzles. We're going to be able to use your pictures to make a puzzle that you can have for family game night, which is going to be a lot of fun. We also have lots of other great opportunities for you to ask questions, get help with Mylio. Lori and I are here to help. So we hope that this has been a fun session for you. Let's see, Vicky's asking, could please send the QR creating information? Let me go ahead and pop that into the chat here for you really quick. So I use a service called Bitly, bit.ly, and that's just a web address. Go ahead and go to your browser, type in Bitly, and you're going to be able to go ahead and create that QR code. Junie's asking, can we get the link for this recording? Absolutely, we are recording this. Lori's usually pretty fast in the turnaround. I wouldn't be surprised if this is posted to the community later today. If not, definitely tomorrow. So make sure you keep an eye out there. It'll be under the webinar replays section. Great question. All right. Did we get that email address, Lori? Excellent. All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed learning how to do a family recipe book or to create any style of photo book that you're interested in. Printique's options are awesome. I think you're going to love them. With that, I want to wish you guys a wonderful rest of the day, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.